Alright, so I don't really know what I'm doing here. It's the night before Thanksgiving and by myself like I always am. Let me think about this. Alright, so I'm looking at this Notting Hill thing and it clearly sucks. And so I would rather not, if anything about the name of the character that you're playing in this has something to do with me, I've explained that shit so many times. I don't want to have to go back through it all over again. Clearly the movie itself was punishment enough. And I just don't feel like talking about it anymore, if that's okay with everybody. I'm just like 1,000 times I explain all that shit. I don't want to do it again. So let me think about this. Let me think about the weirdness of the past couple weeks. Why did I bother start? I was just trying to be nice. It was like several weeks ago. It was just several weeks I was like trying to be nice. I remember what I said. I said a few things and then you like published something for Halloween and I was like, oh, what's he doing? I was like, I'm gonna ignore it, which I kind of actually have. People think I haven't, but I actually kind of did. I was like, nah, I don't think it's a good idea. And then I was sitting there like, if he wanted to go out with me, I brushed my teeth. Like, I know, it's so attractive. I was like, would he really want to go out with me? If he really wanted to go out with me, should I go? It's like, and I could never, I know, it's just like, nah, I don't think so. Nah, I don't think so. I mean, I was like, still single. Yeah, someone shows up and you think about it, but I was just like, nah, even before feeling like I had stumbled into some situation where I was like, in like a lineup of cougars. And I hate that term. I don't use the term. Ooh, it makes me like, ooh, I don't even really know how to, no. But it's an interesting question. And I can't really know what you're doing. I can't really know that that's what happened. It really kind of seems like it because it's kind of too much of like a coincidence. Thailand, of all places, right? Like, why? Right? So let me think about this kind of, because we just do it as theoretical. I'll talk about it like it's the actual, like it's really going on. But it's actually more of a theoretical because I can't really know. I don't need to know. I don't really want to know. But it's kind of an interesting question. I've never seen it before. And I've never been in the middle of it. I can't say as much of an ego boost. Just be like, I was like, oh, they didn't really like me. It's like, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. But it's interesting to see this, to be like, well, because it's a little bit, it's very different from what I was going. See, you're basically the age that I was when all this bullshit started happening to me. And the only thing anybody was talking about at the time was, suddenly I think I was thinking about it sort of vaguely on and off throughout sort of the later part of today. I was like, it's kind of the opposite of what Leonardo DiCaprio is doing. He and I are almost the exact same age. He's like a few months younger than I am, I think. But it was like he was dating, he's always been dating these younger women, but at the time it was like this idea of like, it was just, people would kind of joke around a little bit about how his girlfriends were younger, but they have stayed the same age, and he's just gotten older, and I've gotten older, right? And then like younger hitting on me has turned into like a thing that younger guys do, and now here you are, and it seems like perhaps I'm not even the only older woman that you have these sort of flirtations with, and I'm like, meh. I don't know how to think about it because I can't. It's hard to kind of understand your motivation, but it's somewhat suspect. It's suspect because I'm sure you're not really where you want to be. I don't think you really know how to get where you want to be. I think you may perhaps experience some kind of low self-esteem, which is why you busted out muscly and veiny and everything. It's just, I feel like perhaps you're just not getting where you really most want to go. I honestly don't know. Really, I couldn't really honestly actually say. I know I'm pretty unhappy. I'm really unhappy like this. And I'm becoming better and better and more stable the more that I have been able to interact with people who are far more normal than the shit that goes on in the entertainment industry, smarter, more grounded in reality, have a serious focus. It's just so, people have acted like I haven't been miserable the entire time. And I've been so unhappy and horrified and sickened by what's happening to me the entire time. And really what has happened is that like my, the side of me that is sort of more naturally optimistic and believed in people, I kept trying to like, have that, and people just pounded on it until it completely fucking wore away. And I was just like, and I went through I think some of the most painful, it's been a really painful couple of years, but now it's kind of getting better. Some of the most painful months were trying to explain to people what's been happening to me while I was still so caught up in the midst of it. Like I'm less and less emotionally connected to this industry and the people who have been abusing me. I mean, it's very different. It's very different, and it's been really helpful. And I'm just happier. I don't know any other way to tell you this. I can't say I'm happy because I still get super overwhelmed. So like, how the hell am I ever going to get out of this? How is it ever going to get any better? How am I going to get the cameras out? How is the horror ever going to end? So I get overwhelmed, and actually, you know, some of my inability, even though I would talk about what had happened to me, some of my inability to feel it, a lot of my inability to seem like I felt it, even though I said it all the time, is just self-protective. Like, it just hurts too much that this has been done to me. Everyone's acting like it didn't, but it really has. And so it's like, it hurts so much I can't even let myself feel it. I may never let myself feel it because that's how bad it is. So, you know, and you've all acted like it just didn't matter. You keep trying to force it on me to be like, oh, it's fine. And so I know it's not fine. It's not fine. You all want to believe that it is because you don't want to feel bad, because you know it's really not, but you're forcing it on me. Stop fucking doing that. It's not fine. It's never going to be fine. Stop trying to make me feel what you want me to feel so you don't have to feel bad. Stop fucking doing that. It's not ever going to be fine. Ever. So, yeah, but all I can tell you is, you know, if you, I can't, and I get it. I understand. You know, I mean, it's like, I don't really, how do I feel about the industry? It was really weird right from the beginning, actually. It was so strange right from the beginning. I was like, I can't believe this is really happening to me. And then but then it was so kind of disappointing what all these people were like. I was like, but they're not smart. They don't have 2 feet on the ground. They're not really connected to the world. There's a lot that they don't seem to understand, and it's really disappointing. It has remained so. There's just to see, as things have gotten worse and worse, and these massive human rights abuses have been committed, people act like that's still not what it is. People are still saying the same shit that they were saying in 2010 to add like the whole as if the entire concept of sexual harassment just completely bypass them. And they're just like, oh, no, it's fine. Harvey Weinstein, he actually raped people, so what we do is fine. It's actually, no, it's not fine. No, it's not. It's never going to be fine. It's still sexual harassment. You would never put up with it. You're so full of shit. On and on and on, right? But I just feel like, I don't know. I mean, I understand perhaps maybe a little bit. I can't say. I mean, I don't know. Really, I can't really say how you feel because I didn't dedicate myself to this industry. I don't really know that much about you. I don't know what you did or how you ended up in the Chronicles of Narnia. You know, I have been in a kind of a strange place about thinking this over a little bit, just to be like, you know, it's not exactly, I can't feel sorry for you. And empathy is kind of a tough word too, because you haven't really had it from me. And here I am still with cameras in my place, but it's a little bit a little bit of an unpleasant feeling to think of someone very young and very cute, you know, and probably very easy to work with, who just got picked up out of his life and put into the movies. And then, of course, how can you help? I have the expectation that it's just gonna blossom into something that's, you know, the big star thing. And then when that doesn't happen, it's like, what do you do? How do you cope with it? It's like you're constantly being crestfallen about it. But and then you try to do whatever it is people do, you know, to be like, you know, still enjoy your life and not hold on to it too much. And then the years start to pass and you start to feel blah, blah, blah. I get it. I think I get it. And so to be around me, to try to contemplate me, is probably kind of a strange thing. And you really exploited me, first of all. So you may have to consider the possibility you don't really perceive me very well at all, because you've been so used to exploiting me, and you've been so used to doing whatever the cognitive distortion is that has allowed you to exploit me along with all these other people and not tell the truth and blah, 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 while you focus on yourself and think about how can I get ahead. And then there I am in the middle of, and then you know that to get my attention is to get the attention of, like, you know, it doesn't, I mean, A-listers is kind of it's like redundant for me to even say it. It's all of them, young and old, or at least paying attention to what I'm doing. And it's, you spend some part of the day or some part of the week paying attention to what I'm doing, which is unusual, right? Except not as strange. I look at it and I'm like, I don't really know how I ended up here. It's not as strange as things would have been like 20 years ago, before the internet, you know, and cell phones made things so seamless. I mean, the world's really getting smaller, and it's like a little bit deceptive, because you all still have really pretty much all the power, just in terms of volume, in terms of, you know, what the story that gets out there. It's me. I'm saying things one at a time. I'm making one convert to reality one at a time. Like people are like, that can't be true. That can't be true. She can't be telling the truth. Well, yeah, here I am. I'm telling the truth, right? And I don't know how you feel about it, to be like on the one side of it, like, here is this potential, maybe, passport to A-list type situations. And should you be nice to me? Should you be mean to me? You're kind of in a funny situation. I don't know if there's been somebody else like you exactly. Not exactly. Not someone who hadn't really, you've been kind of trying to figure out what to do and where to go and how to get there. And, it's like, I don't know what your thought process is. All I can say is that I haven't found it fulfilling or interesting or ultimately exciting to be in the middle of all of that. I know that people don't believe that, but if I had, I would have stuck with like the first person or the second person. It would have just been a question of personality or temperament, not me running through all of these people being like, is there a sign of intelligent life around here? Is there anyone who has a coherent value system? Is there anyone who actually understands what decency is? Is there anyone who has a sense of responsibility? Is there anyone at all here whose head isn't like, emptier than like a, I just have been so flummoxed by how corrupt and unhappy it all is. And people don't necessarily seem super happy. I mean, they do, but happy in kind of a fucked up way that for me seems very fucked up, that they just kind of like float above the reality of what they're doing to other people, and they just don't even care. And to me, that really is like living in a horror movie. I don't feel good about it. I don't wish that this had been my life. If I had to know, I would rather know all this shit from a distance to be like, no, they can't really be that bad. Well, yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. I hadn't paid enough attention to see how bad this industry really was. I really didn't know. So I can't tell you anything. I mean, for me to say I don't want to be exploited, you already know that. But I want to talk about something else here. I feel like, all right, well, it's an interesting question. Like, I can't really say what you've been doing. I don't really know very much about you. But let's take the William Moseley of a hypothetical here, just to be like, well, what if that's kind of his thing now, where it's like, snag older women somehow for some sort of dynamic that I don't really quite know how it works really. But one thing I was thinking though is you would have to be completely self-deluded to actually believe that someone who is as meticulous about their own appearance as you are really actually believes that women who are significantly older than you are like the most attractive women out there. It's not possible. It's simply not possible. It's just not, I realized that, and I thought this, I'm going to say this, do I feel bad about Elizabeth Hurley? Do I feel bad? I feel a little bit like uneasy because she's been kind of involved. She didn't really, there were things she did on the royals that I really didn't like, but mostly I think she's had a kind of benevolent attitude towards me that may at this point, if in fact you are involved, be kind of deteriorating significantly also. But I have thought of this joke and I had to say, I'm like, well, if in fact you have now been kind of like having a dynamic in one way or another with women who are going to seed, she's the GMO version, and I'm the regular version of going to seed. I know she still looks great. I'm sure she does. I can't really know what she looks in person. She actually kind of looks better in some ways than she did when she was on the Royals. I don't really know what that means. Seems like I don't know if she's been working out more or if she had more stuff done, or I know there's some sort of weird hormone replacement that people can do. And I think about something like that, and I'm very leery of that, to be like, yeah, no, I never took hormones before. I don't know if I would ever really take them. I know it's just like, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. There's this stuff called Premarin that I had a pharmacist tell me about it when I first started working as a pharmacy technician. She's like, yeah, that's such a terrible process where they take female horses and they just impregnate them over and over again. they don't let them do anything except be pregnant, and then they take all the hormones out of their body from being pregnant, and then they take their babies away, and then they impregnate them again, and it's all just to get the hormones out of them. And after a few of these births, they just die. They're so stressed out from being pregnant all the time, they die, and that's how they make Premarin. And I would have to send it. I would have to put a label on it and give it to people as a prescription. I was like, yeah, I don't know. I think maybe I'll just stick with menopause. I'll stick with the feeling like bugs are crawling on my skin, itchy scalp. Whenever a hot flash might show up and everything, I may just stick with that rather than. I don't really know. I don't know if that's the only option now. I know they have, drugstores are full of like natural versions. Plus, probably the version you can get as someone with a lot of money is very different. Plus, whatever it is, whatever it is she's doing, she has a good eye for how to make it look good, because she does look really good. It's really kind of depressing. You're like, oh, no, I don't think so. I don't think I ever really looked like that anyway. Most people don't, but it's just like I couldn't, I don't really know. But I still have my serious doubts that she would, next to women your age or a little bit younger. It's hard to imagine that she really does hold up that well. And I know I don't. So I'm curious as to if that's what they're still talking about, the theoretically William Moseley, as if that's the real you. I'm sort of curious as to what, I think I kind of nailed it before. It's like, yeah, maybe, because I know that it can be very seductive to have somebody to actually know that, to be like, that was kind of a interesting phase. I didn't mean to have that be a phase that I went through at one point in my life, where it's just kind of who was around. Did not generally tend to be as good looking as I was, and I just kind of was like, all right. And they were, to know that you're the one who's the more attractive person, or has some other kind of edge like that. If it's just youth, even if it's just youth, but I didn't hook up with guys who were older. I didn't mean to hook up with guys who were younger. They were just kind of what was around. So I kind of got used to it. I've never kissed somebody as old as you. Oh. Sorry. I think one time I kissed someone who was 35. I think I was like 32 or 33. And then the other next oldest person was like 33. Is that bad? But I was still in that age range. I mean, it was like, as old as you are now, you're a year older than the oldest guy I ever kissed. But I've been off the market for a long, long time, a really long time. It's like, you guys just put my life on stun. Like, I can't get anywhere. I can't do anything. I can't have anything. I can't go anywhere. I can't have any friends. I can't have a social life. I can barely keep a job. I'm so stressed out, So I honestly don't know. I can't know how you feel. It's not for me. And speculation is kind of gross. It's a lot of speculation about what other people's sex lives are like is kind of gross. But it's kind of an interesting concept to think about it. And I don't really have anything better to do. I was like, no, I don't feel like doing this. I really didn't feel like it for quite a while. I was like, oh no, I don't want to know what the fuck is this. I don't really want to think about this, because you really did not have to do anything to try to indicate any kind of interest in me. I don't know why you did it, really. I was just like, can I get the cameras out of my place, please? Oh my god. So I don't know. I don't know. I think, though, I would say, though, it's going to be important, and maybe you're able to, I think it's going to be really important to try to find a way to cope with your life, so that you're not feeling kind of like something went wrong because your career hasn't taken off. Like, for example, if it doesn't, look at the people that it has. They're out there and they're getting all this attention. They're fucking human rights abusers. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know, and I can't really know what you do in your free time. I know you don't care about me, really. You don't care about what's been going on. Sometimes you make a gesture. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I don't know. Like, I have I get upset, but I've really kept kind of distance from this industry as much as I can in a lot of ways. I'm mostly not always, but I'm doing kind of better with that. But I also was just like, I really am not willing to make money doing something wrong. And everybody else is. Everybody else is. So, I mean, you could, I don't know, and I don't know what you have done in your other productions. I can't really say, I mean, I'm so tired of giving people credit for stuff that's not true. But if I were still in the mode of giving people credit for stuff that's not true, maybe I could say something like, maybe you should appreciate that there's actually a level to which you won't sink. There's shit you haven't done. There's things you haven't sought out. There's things that you haven't been willing to do. It seems like you've tried to choose a variety of things a little bit, saw various things that you thought were interesting. And it's just, I gotta tell you, I mean, it's not a question of like, I mean, it's when you've lived with people whose lives are so damaged the way that I have, and I was already said this, but I've said this in other times, but it's true. It bears repeating, I suppose. Where at 17, not quite 18, I was suddenly thrown in with people who had just lives just completely turned into something that nobody would ever want to live, and you don't have that, and you're in good health, and if you take care of your money, you'll probably always be okay. You know what I'm saying? And there's a whole big world out there, and there's so many people to meet and so many things to know, and school makes life better. It will bring you to other places, and it's like I wish I could burrow back into life and have more privacy and not be where I am. But I think I may be circling back to this concept. It was weird in 2010, like suddenly. But then it was also like suddenly all the bad shit was happening. And even though I was in shock that I was in the middle of it all, from politics to this, everything, I was like, there's bad shit happening. All I can do is get up and write about it. How the fuck did I get here? I don't have the qualifications for this. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't have $1 to my name. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know how the fuck I ended up here, but I know the thing to do is just talk about it, even if I fuck it up. And that's what I did, and that's what I've continued to do. It's just like, no, you can't do this. The shit you're doing is shit you can't do. So, and I know I can't stop you, but I can write about it. Let's see, right? The Chronicles of Narnia. Chronicles, they're chronicles. You talk about what happened. It's chronicles when you talk about what happened. And they're meant to be moral. There's meant to be moral, talk about good and evil and, right and wrong, and this things, how the decisions that you make are important, right? They're classic books for a reason. It's not just about getting dressed up. So I wish I could just regain my life and be a normal person and have the things in life that I know are what make life worthwhile, like having intellectual investment and people that you can trust to be around you, and like close relationships, and knowing that the relationships that you have are really based on knowing people and having spent time with them, and knowing that they're not going to lie to you, and knowing that they're not manipulating you, and knowing that it's not just some sort of fair weather thing, that if you have a problem you can talk to them about it, and if you really get in trouble they'll try to help you out. I mean, there isn't anything else in life that ultimately is worth having. You know what I'm saying? And I just, it's just been so shocking to me to be so surrounded by people who won't cope with that as an issue. Decency is not even in their vocabulary. Big gestures are in their vocabulary, but actually just basic decency is not in their vocabulary. You can't have friendships with people like that. You can't have relationships with people like that. You just can't, because you're giving your life away to people who are, not trustworthy. You just can't do that. So I don't, I look at this and I feel like I can understand perhaps some of what your frustration is, but at the same time, you can't just let it collapse you as a person, because it's a big world, and you can have a better life than this. You can have a better life somehow, and you don't have to manipulate women my age to try to gain that. or to create some kind of facsimile of it if it's not working out. And I know you probably have those thoughts, and you hate those thoughts, and you hate my saying it too. And I'm not telling you to leave the industry. I'm giving you my experience of the industry, which is incredibly depressing. Incredibly depressing. I just can't believe that it's just like unfathomable to me. And I don't think everybody is like that. And it's not, and it doesn't mean that if people came knocking on my door being like, we're going to do things the way you need them done, we're going to have, an actual morality involved here. We're going to set a baseline of basic decency, and we're not going to deviate from that. I can't say no, I won't, but I would still insist on all the changes that I've said I would insist on. I'm not fucking around here. People, I think I'm at the point where I'm like, I see people just think that it doesn't matter what I say, right or wrong. They have no responsibility, and who fucking cares about me, and who fucking cares about the truth, who fucking cares about any of it. I think that's where people are at. Yeah, gosh, it's too bad. We're not very nice. There's nothing she can do. No one's finding out. And all the world's authorities are going along with it, so who the fuck cares? And I'm not really sure what the turning point is going to be for everyone to realize, well, actually, it's a really big fucking deal. You've done something terrible. It's a massive scandal. So I can't say leave the industry, because I haven't quite yet. I'm still hanging out here being like, no, I'm not gonna get dragged into all sorts of bullshit, and sell my soul to this. I'm not doing that. But and I've gotten tougher actually with people out there who are, who are ready to turn on a dime, and be like, oh, you don't really mean it. Well, I'm gonna go for this celebrity. I'm gonna go for that celebrity to get my cause, elevated. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not the issue here. I have all this talent. I'm good at this particular thing. I've been mistreated by people who are being very selfish, and I can't get out of it, and they don't want to stop. But that doesn't mean that I should just be like totally give up on the possibility that I could do something that I'm good at and get paid and be compensated for what I've been put through. But I don't have to be like guilty about it. But I'm also not going to change. I'm not going to change any of the things that for me, are non-negotiable. I have to remind myself, it's like, I don't have to feel guilty about, it's not like anybody else feels guilty. So all these people, everybody but me is willing to jettison morality to make more money and be in the industry and get this and get that. And yet I'm the one everybody keeps coming back to. What's she doing? What's she saying? Where's she going? What ideas can I take? It's like, why do people know, not putting the like 2 and 2 together on here, and to say like, is it possible that actually having a clearer conscience is good for your creative side? Maybe think it over. I mean, to me, it just can't even believe. I just can't believe what people are doing, what they're willing to do, what they're willing to be like. Because none of the emotions that people portray seem real to me or are compelling really very much anymore at all. Yeah, I mean, you can't really help it if someone's talented. You can't really help having no response to it. But at the same time, it's like all of these things that other people are responding to, I know that the actor and the actress and the writer and director and producers and all the people working on it are corrupt. So for me, their emotional portrayals ring really hollow every fucking time at this point. Every fucking time I'm looking at a screen like I'm looking at a criminal. I am looking at a criminal. And it's not just someone who had a bad life, someone who had a great life, who just chooses to be a criminal, doesn't fucking care, so wants everybody to think they're great. That's how I feel now. I think in fact the last movie I saw was the last Spider-Man movie that I saw. I don't think I've seen a movie since like 2020, late 2021, maybe early 2022. I don't think so. I think that's the last movie I saw, and I hadn't seen a movie for a long time before that. I'm just like, why the fuck should I spend the $20 plus to sit there in the theater and see people that I know are criminals and have other people not know it and have them make jokes about me, or it's like, and know they're getting paid all this money to be assholes. Why the fuck should I give them, the half penny or whatever it is that they're gonna get out of my 20 some odd dollars, that it really means a lot to me, when $20 is still a lot for me at my age. $20 is a lot of money for me when I was like, in high school, it's still a lot of money for me. If I have to, I can get through 2 weeks. If I have to, I can get through a month on $20. I shouldn't have to do that at this point for sure. I don't want to give anybody a fraction of a cent of that kind of money, right? People who are such raging hypocrites. So I don't know what to say about this. I don't really understand why people's value system just doesn't get better. And maybe I'll watch the Royals a little bit more, be like with a little bit of a different attitude. But people can calm down about this assumption that I'm just gonna end up, flirting with and saying all this shit about someone because I said already, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I didn't, I don't, I haven't. I was already saying, yeah, I don't think so. Maybe Alexandra Park can help me get the cameras out of my place. She's not, if she is, she's going to, she's taking her time. But really, she's on vacation. I know it's not like, it's just like, well, okay, well, is someone going to tell the truth? But the idea that I should be, that people are showing up to punish me some more. That's what they come here for. They don't come here to help me. They don't come here because they're worried about me for sure. They don't come here for any of those reasons. They come here to look for ways to punish me for what they're doing. They come here to find out what they can say about me that makes what they're doing not as bad. That's the only reason anybody shows up here. What other reason could there be, with nobody taking any responsibility all the time? It's incredible just to exert control over me, to make themselves feel better, to whatever the fuck it is. But it's empathy has never had anything to do with it. So, and the actual opinion of people who act like that is not something that should matter to me.